So technology is absolutely a blessing to the people who want to use it productively. So why I would actually, let me just say it in a slightly different way. We are mature adults. We would like to use technology more in a more. The youths are young, they have impressionable age, and they may use it in a negative way. So as a society, what we have to do is give them the understanding and knowledge as to where can technology go wrong in running their lives.
Why knowledge matters. Welcome, I'm Yannick, your host, and now joining me, Ziaur Rahman from Dhaka, Bangladesh, to discuss technology and its positive and negative influence on Bangladeshi youth and society as a whole. Welcome, Sia.
Thank you very much for inviting me. So, should I start right away?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Please. We are so pleased to have you here on the show. Finally, we discussed a couple of times, and unfortunately, we both were super busy. So finally, we have you here on the show. I'm so pleased.
Thank you, Yannick. It's a pleasure to be here, and the audience who are watching, a warm welcome from Dhaka. It's about 10:30 p.m. in Dhaka. I guess it's early morning in your Canada and rest of the world. So yes, we are going through serious turbulent times globally, with everything almost collapsing. The war is having a significant effect on everyone, including our youth and children. So today's topic is actually on technology and how technology is impacting the youths of Bangladesh, positively and negatively. This is a very difficult question, but I will try to attempt with my understanding on this matter. First and foremost, technology properly used can be an asset. That's point number one. This is globally true. So if you use technology to learn things, to use the technology to connect with people, global audience, etc., then it's an asset. For example, Yannick and I are connected through a technology platform, which is called Riverside. This is my first time I'm using it. So technology is absolutely a blessing to the people who want to use it productively. So why I would actually, let me just say it in a slightly different way. We are mature adults. We would like to use technology more in a more. The youths are young, they have impressionable age, and they may use it in a negative way. So as a society, what we have to do is give them the understanding and knowledge as to where can technology go wrong in running their lives. For example, there are games on the internet which are very destructive that youths are playing these days. Innovation, it's crippling their mindset, and sometimes they are so glued with the game that they lose track with society, their food habits. They become couch potatoes and they lose respect with their family. And we know that there are some very negative consequences of that. Many people have actually gotten into brutal fights with their families. They get all these negative vibes, playing these disturbing mind games and action-oriented games where there are a lot of killings and destruction and mutilations and beheading people all day long. So it has a negative consequence. So I would like to portray technology to be your friend rather than your foe. How so? By looking at what are the opportunities that technology presents us. Number one, technology presents us with knowledge. When we have technology as our friend, we can gather knowledge. Look at all the technology tools that are out there. Look at the new AI-enabled environment, the machine learning environment, the chat GPTs of the world. We can do a lot of research these days using these technology tools at a much faster and much rapid fashion. So there you have the value that technology can bring to the table globally. It's also very pertinent in Bangladesh. Coming to the Bangladesh perspective, our language in Bangladesh is Bengali. Most people speak Bengali with some English because we were a colony of the British many, many years back. So English is also there, spoken around the nation, but the level of English is not up to the mark for most people. So the technology space is predominantly driven by English language, as we know. The language of the business world, the language of technology is mostly is in English. So in that domain, we are a little bit deficient vis-a-vis Canada, America, Australia, United Kingdom, wherever the language English is spoken widely. Even in India, the language English is spoken more widely than in Bangladesh. So there is an impediment with regards to technology and its usage or its support to particular language platform. So in Bangladesh, we have a huge population base these days. We have approximately 170 million people living in Bangladesh. That's a huge number of population. And given that our national average age is about, if I'm not wrong, it's 25.34 or 25.35, something like that, or between 25 and 26 years. So imagine the youthfulness of the nation. We have a huge demographic dividend to capture. So what I suggest for Bangladeshi people, I don't know how many of Bangladeshi citizens are watching. It's for any nation, any person listening to my audio right now, is the fact that if you are young at age and if you can capture technology to your advantage, then you can set yourself apart. You can push yourself beyond an average citizen, because technology as a tool is an enabler. It's an enabler, and with technology you can learn so many things online. So even if you don't have a very good schooling, let's say you live in a faraway village, but there is technology tool available, that means you have the internet connection and you have the online, you can go Google search things, you can download things, you can read up from the internet, and ultimately you can be as reasonably competent or close enough competency that you can arrive at with somebody who's, let's say, sitting in New York City, or somebody who's sitting in Calgary, or somebody who's sitting in Dhaka city. So it's a great leveler. Technology is a great leveler of knowledge, if you want to term it in that way. So I find technology is a bliss. I find technology should be captured in a much meaningful way, and I think the more open source environment it takes place, with a lot more IT enabled software, with open source technology out there, people can garner knowledge. People can use those domain specific knowledge to build their career as well. It's not just career, it's also you can develop your passion. You might have passion in photography, let's say. You might have passion in, let's say, scuba diving. If you have technology at your doorstep within your reach, then you can check out what's going on in, let's say, scuba diving around the world, and you can, move around the world to get those to travel to those exotic places. So your aspirations can actually move up. So technology is not only an enabler, it can actually build your aspirations to the next level. So I think I'll just leave it up to you at this point to jump in and say a few words, Yannick, in this topic as well, if you wish to. So
yeah, thank you so
back to
much,
you.
Sia, for sharing what you think about technology and that it is, in fact, a bliss. Now, personal question: how do you manage using technology to your advantage and also on behalf of your health, because we know for a fact that most adults, whether highly educated or not educated, struggle with managing their use of technology in a healthy and proper way.
Okay, great. That's a fantastic question. I will explain to you this management of technology from two angles. The first angle is from my business and academic angle. As you know, I also teach a course in a local university, one of the top leading private university. I teach a course, right? So sometimes we get the opportunity during the Corona period. We used to do Google Classroom. We used to doodle things. We used to use all kinds of technology. Sometimes, for some crazy reason, if Google didn't work, we used MSN, we used WhatsApp to get people to connect in a particular group and continue our conversation. So, using technology for your education and business, we are doing it very regularly. Companies in Bangladesh are sitting with, let's say, 20, 30, 40 offices in different cities or different parts of Dhaka for that matter, and travel time is very hectic. So what sometimes people are doing, let's say the managing director or the CEO is sitting in a comfortable space in, let's say, my place, just like my home in Dhanmondi, and he or she is having online discussions with regards to sales, with regards to market branding, promotion, specific activities, and also using the technology tools, for example, to do, which is designed to do your work, which creates your work practice design related software. So the technology is being pushed to that limit. And from a social and political point of view, what we do, for example, I'm in a political party. Our party name is Forward Party. We have a very it's the largest movement so far after 1971. We have been able to gather 6.7 million people into our platform. 6.7 million is a huge number of people. Our target is to get 10% of the nation. We want to create a new law in this country so that corruption is reduced, and corruption related money that has been siphoned off from Bangladesh to different parts of the world, and also money that is sitting in Bangladesh through earned through corrupt means. We want to bring it back. So we are creating a national movement for that. For that movement, we have many groups using technology space here. We are using Twitter, we are using Facebook, we are using MSN, we have WhatsApp chat groups, etc. So from a socio-political point of view, we are garnering a lot of people's interest by sharing videos, sharing knowledge, sharing our material, sharing our audio. Just about 1 hour back, I shared an audio in Bengali, that's my language, to lots of people. I know by this time this audio has traveled to over, I don't know, probably 5 or 600,000 people by this last 2 hours. So technology is being used most appropriately, most productively in voicing our points of view, things that we feel are very pertinent for the social and political discourse of this country to move forward, and also bringing more interest in our programs, because we can't be going to every place in different parts of Bangladesh all throughout the year, because it's too costly to travel. So what we do is we create these open forums. We are online, and all the people join using, let's say, Zoom or other StreamYard or other platform, and also WhatsApp groups, and we convey our message. They share their perspective, and additionally what we do is we enable them to speak to others in their community to start using technology, start using all these updated technology tools. And we keep telling that keep telling our people in our political environment and socio-political environment that you will not be a successful politician or a social change agent unless you know how the tool works, how you can take your thoughts out to millions in a short period of time. So from a professional point of view, I explained to you how we are using technology. I do consultation with my business clients sometimes on using online. So technology is the tool which we are using. So from business point of view, from the other discourse, academic discourse, we are using technology all the time. And now we are using technology to build our socio-political, our views, to propagate and promote our socio-political views across Bangladesh through our political engagement, dialogues, audio visuals, what not. So it's a great tool, and it's a good thing that people of Bangladesh, being from an age point of view, they are youths. As I mentioned to you, more people are younger, so they are quick to grasp the technology, even if they don't know it fair enough, well enough. They spend like 2 or 3 days, plugging, handling all these little issues, going to YouTube, searching for ways to increase their understanding, and then they start using the technology even better than I. So we are in the upper, most people are in Bangladesh are trying to use technology to their advantage. We have huge e-commerce, and also m-commerce is gaining momentum in Bangladesh. We have a fairly large e-commerce base these days. So technology is helping us to facilitate this enormous economic growth. Back to you.
That is fantastic. Ziaur Rahman, fascinating, really, like the insight that you really bring also to this view and what you're doing, because I think it's across the world, corruption is a problem, especially obviously in emerging markets such as Bangladesh, which will become a very, very important pillar, in my view, when it comes to economics, throughout the world, especially also manpower, highly educated people who help, whether it is the Western world or Asia, East Asia, to build and to further develop and build a better societies. So kudos to you. You do fantastic work, and I really appreciate that you are also have a mindset of dialogue, that we engage with one another and use technology, use it in order for us to build a better society and ultimately a better world together. What makes you feel alive?
What makes me
Feel alive.
What makes me feel alive? Passion for change, passion to deliver for the people of Bangladesh, to emancipate the lower income people from economic stress, and building some ideas for them, being a change agent and a leader to these people. That makes me feel alive.
That really sounds fantastic, and you remind me of what Gandhi once said: be the change that you want to see in the world. And I think that's really what I see in you, the way you talk and the way you engage in the world and with the world. And last question, tell us if we are on a positive or negative trajectory in general when it comes to technology, and specifically in the context of Bangladesh.
Basically, in some areas, we are in negative trajectory because of, let's say, dark webs. People are getting glued to those type of engagements. People like suspense, but when people get into these groups, they get addicted and they start doing very negative things. From that point of view, we are on a negative trajectory, and the global, you call it the dark web, right? So if you call the other side the enlightened web, people don't have enough understanding of what's going on in that black domain. So these people can become very destructive, and they can disturb the ecosystem, the global socio-political ecosystem. Is to have more dialogue between uh, few things: interfaith dialogue, religious, non-religious interfaith dialogues, so that people can come together. We have to give people the idea that we all have a stake in this world. You are equally a important person to this world, this earth, planet earth, and so are we, and we together will create a better universe. So that's a trajectory that we have to work towards, but in some places it's going negative. And as you can see, over the last, let's 2 years especially, specifically after the corona, we get into these wars which could have been avoided through proper negotiation. So the biggest challenge of humanity is to bring back trust among people. So our job as politicians, our job as social change agents, we need to somehow articulate a future state where we will shake hands, we will embrace each other, we will have differences, but we will learn to live with our differences peacefully. We have to peacefully coexist. You will have your views, I will have my views. We don't have to argue and hit each other off and try to go for a win and lose kind of scenario. So that mindset we have to bring, and it has to happen through a number of ways. First, we have to self-educate ourselves. It's just not learning technology. We have to educate ourselves in the true sense and in the sense of spirituality. It could be a religiously inclined learning. It could be a spiritual learning. That's one thing. And we have to take our ideas to the next level, thinking that we have to work it out. We have to stay together, work together, and build a better universe. That's point number one. Point number two is very simple. We have to lower our egos. Everyone is running with an overinflated ego everywhere in the world. People are thinking that it is I who matter all the time, but in reality, you're nothing but a speck in this, the wide world. You're just nothing but a speck of dust. But you don't realize that. You think that you are the Mr. Superhero, and everybody needs to listen to you. That's the mindset with which we are running around. So we are running around like a headless chicken. So that area we have to get ourselves to understand that this is not the way. We need to find ways to be more participatory, collaborative, giving space to the other person to speak up, listen more, speak less. Although I'm speaking a lot more than listening, but in this case, but since I'm given the opportunity to speak, I'm speaking. So that's the second domain. The third domain I would say is to rationalize the education of global education. There has to be some form of common learning for everyone, which should be on civilization. A learning of civilization and history should be embedded in all academic programs right from childhood. So literature, philosophy, these multi-domain learning should be embedded in every single academic program globally. So we don't want to create 5 Einsteins without any, let's say, any moral pinnings. We have to create, of course, we want Einsteins, but we also want a sweet, nice, positive Einstein who doesn't create just destructive bombs for nuclear annihilation. Or we don't want Putins, and we don't want the, let's say, the Bidens of the world, who is always, going out talking about democracy or anti-democracy and with a stick and telling people that it's your way, it's my way, or your way, and then animosity is created. So in a much larger canvas, we have to start thinking. So it's a global discussion and discourse that we have to engage in. We have to have world forums and world philosophers coming together and create the new universe along with the politicians. So the politicians will probably drive the show, but there has to be a meaningful engagement from very, very knowledgeable social architects from different disciplines. So with that, I would like to end today's session, and I'm really thankful that you allowed me to come and speak to your platform, speak at your platform. I am Advocate Ziaur Rahman from Dhaka.
Ziaur Rahman, thank you so much, and hopefully talk to you soon again. Thank you so much. Ziaur Rahman. That's why knowledge matters. Make your life a masterpiece. Visit now programs.b-ykm.com.